the hate army troll.
It's the hate army,
bro. Hate army.
Shout out to hate.
Good vibes to the
Shout
hate
out to
army.
hate.
Shout out to hate.
Shout out
Shout
for
out to
hate.
hate.
Shout out to hate.
Shout out for
Shout
hate.
out for hate.
All right, now, before we get to open Q&A, I just want to say the following. As you guys know, this is React Day. This is the day that I split my content up. I'm not doing gameplay today. It's good. It's good for a break. I played a lot of stressful Street Fighter. We did a lot of indie stuff yesterday. Today, it's good to do variety. However, those channels, DSP Reacts and DSP Throwback, are not very profitable channels for me. Why? Well, number one, because I only stream on them once a week. Number two, because the videos on the channels don't get a lot of views. And number three, because a lot of the content over there, particularly on the React channel, gets demonetized. Okay? Today, Sunday, these streams are the big streams where, because I'm streaming content on those channels, I can actually make them profitable. Things such as super chats, super stickers, memberships, gifted memberships, and tips today particularly help a ton to keep those side projects viable. I like doing the React content, and I like doing the throwback content. But right now, the only thing that really keeps them afloat, honestly, is the contributions that I get on these streaming days on Sunday, you know? So if you like the content that I'm doing that's not gameplay, please support the streams today. If you support this stream right now, this counts towards the React channel. I always carry over, you know? If tip comes in, I carry that over to the React channel, you see? So please consider supporting the streams today. As you know, I have a goal of, I try to get $50 per stream for tips. If I do that, I consider the stream a success. If I don't do that, well, it's not the end of the world. Plus, there's other contributions. Super chats, memberships, all help a ton, okay? They do. But that's my goal, to try to hit $50 in tips every stream. So if you like the React stuff today, please support the stream, all right? And thank you for hanging out with me on a day when I'm not doing gameplay stuff. I know it's different, and I like the fact that there's people who come by to hang out for my podcast, to come by for React stuff, and it's different kind of content. In the future, as I said, I'm not going to be able to do as much of this playing games or this playing games. Instead, it's going to have to be other content. You know, I'm not going to be able to be doing all this as I get older and older, right? So I want to diversify, and I'm hoping these steps are working for people getting used to me making other kinds of content. All right. Okay. So that being said, let's do a few shout outs. I'll be honest, we don't have many, but let's do a few shout outs and then we'll do some Q&A. Are you ever going to do a documentary react vid again? I might. You know, we stopped doing it last year for good reason. Basically, people got bored with it. If you remember last year, I did a few of them. I did one on Pro Jared. I did one on the follow-up documentary to Wings of Redemption. And if you also remember, I did other kind of long-form reacts last year, too. Like, I reacted to the Internet Historian YouTube channel. And then I also did the one to the history of Machinima and how they had their downfall. And I had a whole day talking about my experiences with Machinima. So, we did all that last year. But overwhelmingly, after doing those projects, I noticed attendance was down, engagement was down, support was down, and people were telling me, we'd actually prefer to see you do games. And I think what happened is when Street Fighter 6 came out, like, boom, all of a sudden people just wanted to see me play a lot of games, and that became my focus for the rest of the year. And after that, if you haven't noticed, there's been no demand for it, right? Like, it hasn't been like, oh, wow, Phil just stopped doing it entirely. We really miss it now. It really hasn't happened again. And it's like, that's weird because I know for a while people were liking it. And as I told you, there's a few documentaries out there that I think I would be able to add a ton of insight to. Case in point, the Channel Awesome Nostalgia Critic documentary. That was a guy who I was a super fan of back in the day before I became a YouTuber. Loved all this content. Watched it, you know, habitually. And apparently the guy had a humongous downfall over the year. So that's something that I would like to react to. And then we was like, nah, don't do it. We're not really interested in it. Oh, okay. And there's been other documentaries as well about Boogie, about Wings of Redemption, about these other guys. And no one seems to want that. I'll tell you this. Obviously, later this year, we all know June the King did a documentary or is doing a documentary on me. Okay. From what I'm understanding, it's the longest one he's ever done. It's going to be around 4 hours in length. It's going to cover my entire history. Even before I was a YouTuber, the information that he could try to get gathered up, which apparently isn't a lot. Apparently there's just not a lot out there that's documented. So that one, as I told you guys, I'm going to react to. Probably not the whole thing, because 4 hours is so much, and you know when I react, I'm going to be adding so much to it. Can you imagine how long it would take for me to react to that? If it took me for a 2-hour documentary of Rings of Redemption, it took like 5-6 hours to react to it. Can you imagine how long it would take me? It would take me like 3 days to finish a react to the documentary. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to start off reacting to it and just go as far as I can. And then I'm sure we're going to run out of time. And then what I'll probably do is determine how much I really want to react to it. As I've told you guys, when it comes to things about my past and stuff like that, I'm down for that. When it comes to shit for like the last 4 years, all the nonsense these people make up about me, about my finances and all kinds of shit, I'm not even going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. Number one, I don't have to defend myself with that. There's no reason that I have to publicly defend myself when it comes to that shit. It's literally nobody's fucking business at all about my finances and shit like that. No one should ever have that as public knowledge or have to be digging into that shit at all. Okay? I've already said the things that I have said on it, and they're not going to change, right? The statements that I made publicly are the statements that I made publicly, that I stick to it. They're never going to change. So there's no reason for me to watch an entire hour of this documentary that's going to cover everything that my trolls say about me, that I scammed money and I have offshore fucking PayPal and hidden money accounts, and I lied on my bankruptcy, and I lie here, and I lie to my fans, and I lie this, and I do this, and it's just bullshit, right? So why am I going to just re-entertain all of it again? I've already told you guys my perspective on it. That was the reason I went on that stupid interview last year with Side Scrollers. I said, it's all there. You want to see it, and you want to see my answers, watch that interview. If you don't believe them, that's up to you. But I've already said all this. I don't need to say it again. It's going to be the same exact answers. It's going to be, that's a lie, that's bullshit, that's not real, that's a lie, that's bullshit, that's not real. It's all bullshit, circumstantial shit they made up to try to corroborate a story that's not real, all right? And I have nothing to say about it, right? So what's the point of just sitting there, right, and watching all of that again? Because that's all it's going to do. You know, June, he analyzes the stuff that's there. He's probably going to go through all the shit my haters have said, all the shit that other fucking YouTubers have said, all the shit that happened in the interview, all the shit I've already been through. I'm not going through it again for no reason. It's never going to change, right? So, when I do react to that documentary, I'm probably going to be reacting to most of the stuff up until like the last few years, and then I don't need to react to that current, anything that has to do with finances and my business. It's just that. It's my business, nobody else's. And I've given my answers, so I'm not going to waste time on that shit. At that point, I'll probably be so exhausted anyway, because this is a 4-hour documentary. You imagine how much it covers? So there's going to be so much to talk about, right? Up until that point, that I'm going to be burnt out and I've had enough, you know? So that, I can tell you that, Ghost of Jay, that's coming later this year. Whenever the documentary on me releases from June the King, I'm going to be reacting to most of it likely at some point. And that's probably going to be the big thing on the channel over there, right? Outside of that, no, I don't have any plans to do long form documentary react videos because people seem to not want them anymore. Like I said, I did one on Wings of Redemption last year. The attendance was poor. The support was non-existent. It was actually slower than a normal day when I reacted to it. Like, people just didn't care. So I was like, so what's the point of this? Right? So forget it. Now, as of right now, I have no tips whatsoever to shout out. Not a single tip has come in, unless it's not refreshing, but I see nothing. So again, what I want to reiterate is that this stream, the goal is $50 by the end of the React show. It would be great if we could hit that. That helps the React channel a lot, because right now the only income I get from that channel is memberships and these Sunday streams, okay? So please support the stream today. If you can, it helps the React channel a lot. All right, I try to hit $50 by the end of that stream, and there you go. So by the way, guys, can we check? Let's see if my tip link is working, only because it's very odd that we're at the end of a podcast and I have no tips. It almost never happens. So I just want to make sure that my tips are working. I'm certainly not saying that they're not. Nope, the page is there. I guess there's no one wanted the tip so far today. All right. As long as it's working. The Nick rules. I've already explained many, many times why I don't currently sell merch. So, I don't really want to reiterate myself again. Basically, my trolls go and harass whatever business I try to sell merch with. And then the business doesn't want to deal with the online harassment. So they basically shut my account down. They've done this multiple times now. The only way I'd be able to sell merch is to finance it myself, meaning actually mass produce it myself with my own money and then hope to sell it for profit after. That I'm not going to do. Most businesses that do it for free aren't going to put up with online harassment. And I do have hundreds to thousands of morons who do this fucked up stuff. So that's why. Anyone else? Oh, it's a positive thing. They have merch. This is cool. But when you're getting 100 complaint emails and people are mass tweeting your social media saying, did you know that you have Hitler on your site selling merchandise? You're like, what? And then they'll send them a link to a bad joke that I made in 2010, acting like I made it yesterday. Right? Like, oh, great. And then they shut down my account. So I can't do it, you know? Oh, the Nick rules. You're right. Like, here's the thing. I had a merchandise store back in the day called Cafe Press. That ran from my earliest days as a YouTuber until like maybe the first few years of the 2010s. Then I really didn't care about it anymore, so I just let it go into disrepair and eventually closed. And then when I became a full-time streamer in 2017, people said we want merch again. That's when Teespring reached out to me and created a store for me, and I had that Teespring store running from 2017 to 2021. Yeah, there are people who like the merch and they buy the stuff. But the problem is now the world has changed. Now the world is this big ultra woke liberal mess, and anyone who complains about anything gets entertained. It's ridiculous. Like back then people would be like, oh, you're complaining about this person who has a store? That's great. Go fuck yourself. We ignore you now. And they would just shut it down. But today, all these companies are so worried about public image and social media and dumb shit like that that doesn't fucking matter, right? That if anyone complains about anyone, they just fucking bend right over and shut stuff down. And that's what I mean, how do you, in 2017, open a merch store for me? I didn't even do it. Teespring opened my merch store for me and created my first line of products. I didn't even make it. They did. Over the years, I added more. I sold. It wasn't a lot of sales, but every once in a while, I would have some good sales, especially around the holidays. There'd be some sales, get some extra cash in my pocket, right? They never had an issue with me. All of a sudden, they just abruptly closed everything in 2021. The same time that Twitch kicks me out of their partner program. The same time that some of these services that process payments and do pop-ups and stuff on streams also kicked me out. Isn't it funny? It all literally happened at exactly the same time. No, my trolls put together this package of hateful content about me, highlighting my worst moments, right? Here's a racist joke he made in 2009. Here's his worst joke ever from 2010 about, the Dead Space 2 demo, the infamous Nazi joke and stuff like that, right? And they compile shit from years and years ago, act like it happened today, and just send it to these companies. Now, these companies already knew who I was. All that shit was all over the internet before. But they're so dumb that they're just, well, we can't have this. We can't have anyone literally complaining about anyone on our site. We can't have people spamming our social media. So just close the store. Okay. And I didn't even know about it. I know how I found out about my store closing? You. The fans reached out to me and said, did you notice your store page is gone? I was like, no. They never even sent me a notification. When I asked them for clarification, they refused. They said, we don't have to tell you anything. We are not legally required to tell you anything about why we do anything. Oh, okay. Well, it really makes me want to work with you, right? So anyway, yeah, that's why I don't have merch. And like I said, there's other companies who have reached out to me. One just happened I'd say about a month and a half ago, okay? A company reached out to me and said, hey, so we're a company that not only does merch, but we also do like a program where people can become a member. So basically think of like YouTube or Twitch memberships, but let's say it has nothing to do with YouTube or Twitch. People can become a paid member and you can make content for them and put it on this particular site. And also they make merch. You could sell merch through the site and all this stuff. And I said, I'll be honest with you, I don't really care about the other stuff. I just care about the merch side of your business. But I want to forewarn you about the level of trolls that I have. And the person responded, oh, no, it won't be a big deal. I said, you didn't do any research. You literally just searched for YouTube channels and you sent me this invite. You did not do any research. I want to explain to you how bad this is, that I was on Teespring, and I got kicked off for stuff that's not real. And I want you to understand the level of harassment that I get, and that's going to affect your business. And the person never responded after that. They said, oh, forget it. And that was like a few months ago. So that's what happens. Like, these companies don't understand how bad the internet is. They don't. And they operate fully on the internet, and they don't even understand how bad the internet is with the level of harassment and stuff that's present out there. They just don't get it. So they think everything's going to be fine. Oh, no, you should sign up with us anyway. No, you don't understand who I am. You didn't research. Now do the research. Type my name into a search engine and see the level of harassment about me out there. And then you're going to understand what's going to be thrown your way if you do business with me. And then that's it. That's the end of that. Right? Because what's the point of me doing business with an ignorant group like that? If they're ignorant and they didn't do their due diligence and they don't know who they're talking to, right? And then I go through all the work of setting up an online store and uploading images to become merch, and you guys want to buy it, and you go to try to buy it, and then within 2 days the store gets shut down because my trolls harassed them, right? So what the hell was the point of that? It's just a waste of everyone's time, mine, yours. So that's why I don't waste time with it. If ever I had a lot of money, I would buy my own line of merch up front. I would buy it and produce it, and then I would sell it online, and no one could stop me then. Because it's me doing it. It's not these companies forward-facing, fronting all the costs and everything, right? But I don't have any money to do that, right? If I were rich, if I won the fucking lotto, then I guess I would do that. But, you know, it's wishful thinking. A lot of things you would do if you won the lotto, right?
Tipping me helps me more than anything.